Alright, so now that we've got our terrain layout tool created, let's go and test it out inside of Unity using the Houdini engine. Okay, so here we are back inside of Unity, and we can see our box variations going on right here. What I want to do is I want to come into the HDA folder inside of our project, intro to PDG there. And I want to create a new folder, and I want to call this my terrain utils, alright? And I'm just going to call, or create another folder called tests. All right, and we'll just drag this IP top tests tops HDA into that test folder. And what I want to do is I want to copy my new terrain layout, all right, into this particular folder. So I have both of those folders open. So I have the link to where the terrain layout HDA is. So I want to copy that, and I want to put that into my Unity project here. So terrain utils. Because this is really just a terrain utility. This is going to allow us to create layouts relatively rapidly. Okay, cool. So with that, now we've got that in our scene. So what I'm going to do is actually just delete our original test there because we want to start to build out our terrain. Okay, so next step is to take this IP terrain layout HDA, just drag it into our Unity scene here. And there we go. So you can see now we're starting to get our layout all created here. All right, so you might be wondering, well, I don't really see any way to actually paint any of these particular values. I'm also going to bring down the brightness on our directional light so I can just see this a little bit more. So you might not see, how to go about creating the painter inside of Unity here. Well, we don't actually see it enabled. So what we need to do is we actually need to go and select our HDA, our terrain layout HDA, and we need to go to the asset options over here, and we need to basically enable our edit nodes. And currently we do not see our edit node anywhere, which is odd. So to fix that, we need to go back into Houdini over here, and I'm going to pop open the type properties for our IP terrain layout there. And I need to go back to the node, and it's not picking up this editable node here that's inside of our painting. And that's because it is actually nested one level deep. So by just copying the painter node name there and putting that in, that doesn't work. We actually need to put in the path. And so a better way to assign this when we have these nested geometry nodes inside of a subnet like so is to just hit this little button right here, and this will pull up the choose operator window. And this will allow us to actually just go and select it. And you can see now it's actually adding in the path to our particular node. And that'll work now. So I'm going to hit apply and accept. All right, so a quick way to debug that stuff. And I do that all the time still. So that's why I wanted to show that particular process for debugging that particular error. Okay, so with that, let's go back to our folder here. And what I need to do is actually, I think I am saving it to my documents folder by accident there. I should have saved it to my project, but it'll be in the downloads for you. All right, so there we go. So now we just overwrote our HDA. So I'm going to come back into Unity over here, and I'm going to select the terrain layout HDA and hit rebuild assets. You'll notice now we have this enable editable node tools. So I'm going to click that, and voila, we get all of the editable node features. So this is where we can actually utilize a painter. So what I want to do is I want to paint value, and you can see, well, we're getting a really tiny brush. So if I hold down shift and middle mouse click, you can see I can make the brush a little bit bigger now. So now we've just created our own vertex painter, but it's really powerful because we can actually go and paint scale values into this. So let's say I put in something like 1 for that scale value there and start painting in a value of 1 like so. It should actually go and increase that particular value. We should actually, let's go and do something like 3, just so we can really pump that up there. There we go. So now we want really big mountains right there. Maybe a little too big. Let's do something like 2.25. So now we can go back there and paint again. So I just want to get these guys. There we go. Make it a little bit smaller. All right, let's go and mess with the density value. So now I'm going to paint our density. So I just hit the little attribute drop down, select density. And now what I can do is I can determine where I want more density or more mountains, right? So I'm going to make my brush a little bit bigger. You can always come down here and change the size. We can change the brush opacity. You can change the different operations, and you can also change the handle color. So this allows you to change the color of your brush shape. There we go. So it's a little more red right there. All right. So let's concentrate on our density now. So I'm just going to keep this between 0 and 1. So I definitely want some mountains over here. So I'm going to put in a bunch of density right there. And you can see all of our mountains clumped together. All right. And so then what I want to do is let's actually make, some fall off here. Let's add some mountains, kind of in all the corners here. Like so. Alrighty. There we go. That's looking pretty good so far. And then I also want to have some mountains, kind of in the middle here as well. So let's kind of just stem off a little bit, like so. And you can see that every single time I paint, I'm getting a nice different result. And we could promote even more parameters. You have a lot of control over this stuff. This is really just a basic example of how you can set up the painter to allow you to create your own terrain layouts relatively easily. All right, so that's pretty cool. I think I want the mountains over here to be a little bit bigger, and then let's go to the scale. So I want to say 1.5 for these guys right here. There we go. Maybe same over here. Now let's make the mountains kind of in the middle here a little bit smaller so they kind of fall off a little bit here. There we go. That's kind of cool. Gives us a nice little valley. All right, so let's set this back up to 1.2. Make these guys a little bigger there. Yeah, I'm kind of digging that. So let's go to something like 2.6 and make one really big mountain over here. So let's just do something like that. And let's set some of these other guys a little bit smaller down here. Yeah, so we're getting a cool little fall off there. Yeah, I'm digging that. So the other thing I would really want to do is I would want to promote the scatter count. But I'll let you guys do that, and I'll include it in the actual HDA, but I'm not going to show it on the video here because we have a lot to cover still, and I think by now we're getting pretty comfortable with, HDAs and how to create them. Let's actually make a big mountain over here. Yeah, that's looking pretty cool. These guys a little bit bigger. These guys a little bit bigger. Yeah, oh, so I'm digging that. That's pretty cool. Okay. So with that, let's close out the lecture right there and move on to the next step. So what we want to do is we want to actually turn this into a real terrain. So we need to utilize a height field, and then we're going to split it up, and we're going to use tops to do all that work for us. Thank you very much.